Comfort didn't arrive overnight. It crept in quietly, disguised as progress, convenience, and self-care. You were told to avoid discomfort, soften your edges, and choose ease whenever possible. So you did, and nothing collapsed immediately. That's the trick. Weakness grows slowly, invisibly, until the moment life applies pressure and you discover your reflexes are dull. Stoicism was never meant to soothe you. It was built to prepare you. To train a mind that doesn't panic, a will that doesn't negotiate with fear, and a character that doesn't bend for approval. Dangerous doesn't mean loud or aggressive. It means steady. It means unmovable. It means your emotions answer to you, not the other way around. Ancient Stoics practiced difficulty on purpose because comfort creates dependency. Discipline creates freedom. In this video, you'll see why choosing controlled hardship sharpens judgment, restores self-respect, and turns calm into something powerful enough to withstand chaos. Today, you decide who controls you when pressure arrives again. Part 1. Comfort trains. Weak reflexes. Comfort doesn't make you weak all at once. That's why it's so dangerous. It trains you slowly, quietly, through repetition. Each time you avoid discomfort, your mind learns a lesson. Pressure is something to escape, not to face. Over time, that lesson becomes instinct, and instinct is what controls you when life doesn't give you time to think. A comfortable life dulls reflexes because it removes friction. When everything is optimized to feel good, you stop practicing endurance. You stop practicing restraint. You stop practicing judgment under stress. The Stoics understood something modern culture ignores. Strength is not built in ease. It is built in resistance. Just like muscles weaken without load, character weakens without challenge. Look closely at how comfort reshapes behavior. When tension appears, the comfortable man reacts emotionally. He rushes to defend himself, explain himself, or escape the situation entirely. He confuses reaction with action. But my reaction is always late. It's impulsive. It's borrowed from habit rather than chosen with clarity. Stoicism calls this slavery to impulse. The Stoic sees pressure differently. Pressure is not an enemy. It is information. It reveals where you are untrained. It exposes where your judgments are weak. Epictetus taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Comfort keeps those interpretations shallow. It never forces you to refine them. Think about modern environments. Workplaces avoid discomfort through endless reassurance. Relationships avoid discomfort through silence instead of honesty. Even personal growth is packaged as something gentle, quick, and painless. But when real adversity arrives, loss, disrespect, failure, these environments collapse. The mind, trained in comfort, doesn't know how to stand. Stoicism offers a reversal. Instead of avoiding difficulty, it asks you to meet it voluntarily. Not recklessly, not constantly, but deliberately. The Stoic trains reflexes by choosing small, controlled challenges. He practices staying calm when misunderstood. He practices patience when provoked. He practices effort when motivation is absent. Over time, these practices harden the inner structure. This is where weakness and danger separate. Weakness is reactive. It flinches. It seeks relief. Danger is composed. It pauses. It assesses. When pressure hits, the Stoic does not collapse inward or explode outward. He holds the position. That ability alone changes how the world treats him. People sense stability. They sense self-command. Comfort teaches you to ask, how do I feel right now? Stoicism teaches you to ask, what is required of me right now? That shift rewires reflexes. Instead of chasing relief, you choose a response. Instead of defending your ego, you defend your principles. Instead of fleeing discomfort, you use it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle is the way, but only if you see it correctly. Comfort-trained minds see obstacles as threats. Stoic-trained minds see them as training grounds. Every inconvenience becomes a rehearsal for composure. Every delay becomes a test of patience. Every challenge becomes a chance to practice mastery. This is not about becoming harsh or emotionless. It's about becoming reliable under strain. A man whose reflexes are trained does not need perfect conditions. He does not need praise. He does not need certainty. He functions when others freeze. Comfort makes life easier, but it also makes you fragile. Stoicism restores the reflex that comfort erodes, the ability to remain steady when life refuses to be gentle. That steadiness is the foundation of everything that follows. Part 2. Weak men react. Dangerous men pause. Reaction feels powerful, but it isn't. It's fast, loud, emotional, and completely predictable. When you react, you surrender control to whatever triggered you. A comment, a look, a delay, a setback. The stimulus moves first. You follow. That is not strength, that is conditioning. Comfort trains this weakness perfectly. When life has been soft, even small disruptions feel intolerable. The voice tightens. The body tenses. The mind races to defend, justify, or attack. Reaction becomes automatic because there was never a reason to practice restraint. And in moments that matter most, automation is dangerous. Stoicism draws a hard line between reaction and response. Reaction is impulsive. Response is chosen. The difference between the two is not intelligence or morality. It is time. Specifically, the ability to pause. The pause is where dangerous men are forged. Not dangerous in the sense of aggression, but in the sense of being unmanageable. When you pause, you interrupt the chain between stimulus and emotion. You create a gap, and in that gap, power appears. Most people believe strength is about intensity. Strong feelings, strong opinions, strong expressions. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Strength is about delay. The man who can wait 3 seconds before speaking already controls the situation better than the man who speaks immediately. The one who can slow his breath when insulted has already won the exchange, even if he says nothing at all. This is why weak men react. Reaction is relief. It releases tension quickly, but relief is temporary. It often leaves damage behind. Words you can't retract, decisions you can't undo, impressions you can't repair. Dangerous men accept temporary tension to preserve long-term control. The Stoic pause is not passive. It is active restraint. In those seconds, you are not suppressing emotion. You are observing it. You notice the surge without obeying it. Anger appears, fear appears, ego appears. But none of them are given command. This skill transforms everything. In conflict, the reactive man escalates. The Stoic de-escalates internally while maintaining firmness externally. In pressure, the reactive man panics. The Stoic stabilizes. In provocation, the reactive man explains himself. The Stoic lets silence do the work. People instinctively test boundaries. They probe for emotional leaks. They push to see who will flinch. When you react quickly, you reveal where you are vulnerable. When you pause, you reveal nothing. Uncertainty unsettles others far more than aggression ever could. The pause also restores judgment. Emotion narrows perception. It creates urgency where none exists. When you slow down, your thinking widens. You see options. You see consequences. You see leverage. This is why Stoicism prioritizes self-command over self-expression. Modern culture encourages constant reaction. Notifications demand immediate attention. Opinions demand instant responses. Outrage is rewarded. Calm is overlooked. But calm is rare, and rarity creates authority. A man who does not react is not indifferent. He is deliberate. He chooses when to speak, when to act and when to let things pass untouched. This selectiveness makes him unpredictable. And unpredictability, paired with composure, is a form of quiet dominance. The practice is simple, but not easy. When tension arises, pause. Breathe once, slowly. Ask yourself what response serves your principles, not your pride. Then act, or don't. Both can be powerful. Weak men feel compelled to react. Dangerous men decide when to move. That decision begins with a pause. Part 3. Comfort kills. Discipline. Discipline doesn't disappear suddenly. It erodes quietly, replaced by convenience, excuses, and negotiation. Comfort teaches you to ask how you feel before you ask what must be done. Over time, that habit becomes law. You wait for motivation. You wait for the right mood. You wait for things to feel easier. And while you wait, discipline dies. The Stoics understood that motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, driven by emotion and circumstance. Discipline, on the other hand, is stable. It does not depend on desire. It depends on the decision. Comfort flips this order. It makes action conditional on feeling good. Stoicism makes action conditional on principle. A comfortable life trains you to negotiate with yourself. You delay hard tasks. You soften commitments. You lower standards when resistance appears. Each compromise seems small, harmless, even reasonable. But discipline is not destroyed by one large failure. It is destroyed by many small permissions. When discipline weakens, so does self-respect. You begin to sense it internally. You know when you've avoided effort. You know when you've taken the easy path. That knowledge doesn't disappear. It accumulates. And accumulated self-betrayal produces quiet shame, even if life looks fine on the surface. Stoicism offers a harsher but freeing alternative. It removes negotiation. The Stoic does not ask, "Do I feel like it?" He asks, "Is this required?" That single shift restores authority. You stop pleading with your emotions and start commanding your actions. This is where danger begins to form. A disciplined man is difficult to manipulate because he does not need external pressure to act. He moves when he says he will move. He follows through even when unseen. That consistency builds internal gravity. People trust it. Situations bend around it. Comfort avoids friction. Discipline embraces it. The Stoic deliberately does what is uncomfortable but necessary. He wakes when it would be easier to sleep. He trains when it would be easier to rest. He speaks when silence would be safer, and stays silent when speaking would be easier. Each choice strengthens internal alignment. This is not about punishing yourself. It is about removing dependency. The more you rely on comfort, the more fragile you become when comfort disappears. The Stoic prepares for that reality by practicing effort while conditions are still favorable. He does not wait for a crisis to discover his limits. Modern culture treats discipline as extreme. Stoicism treats it as survival. Without discipline, emotions rule. Without discipline, pressure controls outcomes. Without discipline, life trains you instead of the other way around. Dangerous men are not driven by intensity. They are driven by routine. They do not seek heroic moments. They build reliable systems. Small daily disciplines compound quietly, shaping identity over time. You do not become dangerous by doing something extraordinary once. You become dangerous by doing ordinary things without excuse. This is why comfort is so effective at weakening men. It offers relief now in exchange for strength later. Stoicism reverses that trade. It asks for effort now so freedom can exist later. Discipline is not visible to others at first, but its effects are calm under pressure, follow through without supervision, stability when conditions shift. These traits intimidate not because they are loud, but because they are rare. Comfort feels kind. Discipline feels strict. but only one builds someone who cannot be easily shaken. Comfort makes life softer. Discipline makes you solid. And solidity in an unstable world is a dangerous advantage. Part 4. Dangerous doesn't mean. Loud modern culture confuses strength with noise. It rewards the loudest voice in the room, the fastest response, the most visible emotion. Volume is mistaken for confidence. Expression is mistaken for authority. But Stoicism draws a clear distinction. Real power does not announce itself. It operates quietly. A loud man seeks to be felt. A dangerous man does not need to be noticed. He is grounded, contained, and precise. He does not waste energy signaling importance. He lets his actions speak in environments where words are cheap and abundant. Comfort encourages loudness because it removes consequences. When there is little at stake, people talk freely. They vent, they over-explain, they defend their image at every perceived threat. This creates constant noise, but no weight. Stoicism strips that away. It teaches restraint as a form of strength. The Stoic understands that speech is an action, not a release. Words shape outcomes. Once spoken, they cannot be retrieved. Loud men speak to relieve tension. Dangerous men speak to create impact. The difference is intention. Marcus Aurelius warned against the need to be seen as clever or impressive. He valued alignment over applause. A Stoic does not perform wisdom. He lives it. This is why silence plays such a central role in Stoic character. Silence is not emptiness. It is containment. When you do not rush to speak, you observe more. You notice patterns others miss. You hear what is said beneath the words. You allow others to reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. This imbalance shifts power quietly in your favor. Loudness also leaks insecurity. The need to constantly explain, justify, or correct signals internal instability. It tells the world you are still negotiating your position. The Stoic has already decided who he is. He does not seek confirmation through reaction. This does not mean passivity. Silence is not avoidance. The Stoic speaks when clarity is needed and acts when action is required. But he never confuses expression with effectiveness. He chooses the minimum necessary force. Consider how authority functions in real life. The most respected figures often speak the least. When they do, people listen. Their words carry weight because they are rare. Loudness exhausts attention. Restraint concentrates it. Dangerous men cultivate this restraint deliberately. They do not fill gaps with noise. They are comfortable with pauses, with unresolved tension, with not being immediately understood. That comfort unsettles others, because most people fear silence. They rush to fill it. They reveal too much. Silence also protects your inner state. When you speak less, you are less entangled. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You preserve energy. You remain flexible. Loud men are committed to every word they say. Quiet men retain options. Comfort makes people expressive. Stoicism makes people exact. One scatters energy, the other sharpens it. This is why Stoic calm feels intimidating. It offers no emotional handles to grab, no drama to exploit, no reaction to feed on. Dangerous does not mean aggressive. It means self-contained. It means grounded in principle rather than impulse. It means being able to sit with discomfort without trying to dominate it through noise. In a world addicted to expression, restraint becomes rare, and rarity creates presence. When you speak less but act consistently, people adjust around you. They listen more closely. They test you less. They sense limits without them being declared. Comfort tells you to express everything. Stoicism teaches you to filter. What passes through that filter becomes potent. What doesn't is released internally without damage. Loudness fades quickly. Calm endurance does not. The Stoic chooses the latter. not to appear powerful, but to be unmovable. Part 5. Comfort seeks approval. Stoics build respect. Comfort doesn't just soften your habits, it reshapes your priorities. When life revolves around ease, approval becomes currency. Being liked feels safer than being respected. Agreement feels better than friction. And slowly, without realizing it, your behavior begins to orbit other people's reactions. Approval is seductive because it offers immediate feedback. A smile, a nod, a quick sense of belonging. But it is also unstable. What pleases one person irritates another. What earns praise today may invite criticism tomorrow. A man who depends on approval is always adjusting, always explaining, always scanning the room for emotional signals. That constant adjustment erodes his center. Stoicism rejects this dependency at the root. The Stoic does not ask, "How am I being perceived?" He asks, "Am I acting in accordance with my principles?" That question is heavier. It demands internal consistency rather than external validation. And consistency, over time, creates something approval never can: respect. Respect is slower. It is built through repeated alignment between words and actions. It does not require constant expression. In fact, it often grows in silence. People may not always like a disciplined man, but they sense reliability. They know where he stands. That clarity stabilizes interactions around him. Comfort-driven approval-seeking creates leaks. You soften boundaries to avoid tension. You agree when you should disagree. You delay hard conversations to preserve harmony. Each avoidance feels minor, but the pattern is costly. Others begin to test you, not consciously, but instinctively. Unclear boundaries invite pressure. The Stoic understands that boundaries are not declarations. They are behaviors. You don't need to announce standards if you consistently live by them. Over time, people adjust. They learn what is negotiable and what is not. This learning happens without confrontation, without drama, without explanation. Approval-seeking men explain themselves excessively. They justify choices. They defend their intentions. They attempt to manage perception through words. Stoic men let outcomes speak. They accept that misunderstanding is sometimes the price of integrity, and they are willing to pay for it. This willingness is what creates danger. A man who does not need to be liked cannot be easily controlled. Praise loses its leverage. Criticism loses its sting. Social pressure loses its grip. What remains is internal command. Respect also changes how conflict unfolds. When you are driven by approval, conflict feels threatening. You rush to smooth it over. When you are driven by principle, conflict becomes informative. It shows where values diverge. It clarifies relationships. The Stoic does not seek conflict, but he does not fear it either. Comfort encourages harmony at all costs. Stoicism prioritizes alignment, even if harmony is temporarily disturbed. In the long run, alignment creates deeper stability. People may resist it at first, but they trust it over time. There is a quiet confidence that emerges when you stop managing impressions. You move differently. You speak less, but with more weight. You listen without urgency. You act without broadcasting. These signals are subtle, but they are felt. Respect is rarely granted in moments of comfort. It is granted when consistency is observed under pressure. When you hold a line politely but firmly. When you do what you said you would do, even when it costs you socially. When you refuse to betray yourself for acceptance. Stoicism trains you for that cost. It prepares you to stand alone briefly so you don't have to stand unsure forever. Approval fluctuates. Respect compounds. Comfort asks, will they like this? Stoicism asks, is this right? The first leads to dependency. The second leads to authority. In a world obsessed with being liked, the man who builds respect without demanding it becomes quietly formidable. Part 6. Voluntary hardship creates inner weapons. Comfort teaches dependence. It conditions you to need favorable conditions before you function well. When comfort disappears, as it always does, you feel exposed. Stoicism prepares for that moment by reversing the training. Instead of waiting for hardship to arrive, the Stoic introduces it voluntarily in controlled doses while conditions are still stable. This idea is deeply countercultural. Modern thinking treats hardship as something to eliminate. Stoicism treats it as something to practice, not because suffering is noble, but because dependency is dangerous. What you cannot endure will eventually control you. Voluntary hardship is not punishment. It is inoculation. By choosing difficulty intentionally, you reduce its power over you later. Cold, hunger, effort, restraint. These are not enemies to be feared, but tools to be used. Each one strengthens a different layer of inner stability. When you practice mild discomfort, you learn an important truth. You are more capable than your comfort-trained mind suggests. That realization changes how you approach uncertainty. Fear loses credibility. Anxiety loses urgency. You stop negotiating with imagined limits. The Stoics practiced this in simple ways. They wore plain clothes when luxury was available. They ate modest meals even when abundance surrounded them. The goal was not asceticism, but independence. If comfort disappeared, nothing essential was lost. In modern life, voluntary hardship looks different, but the principle remains. Choosing effort when ease is available. Maintaining discipline when no one is watching. Sitting with silence instead of distraction. Facing conversations you'd rather avoid. Each act sharpens internal authority. These practices build what can only be described as inner weapons. Not weapons against others, but against fear, impulse, and collapse. When you know you can endure discomfort, threats lose leverage. Manipulation loses force. Pressure becomes manageable. Voluntary hardship also clarifies priorities. When life is easy, everything feels important. When things are difficult, only what truly matters remains. The Stoic uses controlled difficulty to strip away noise and identify what deserves energy. Comfort makes loss terrifying. Stoicism makes loss survivable. A man who has practiced doing without is not desperate to cling. He negotiates from strength because he knows he can walk away. That knowledge radiates quietly and changes how others interact with him. This is why voluntary hardship produces danger. Not aggression, but independence. A man who does not need constant reassurance, pleasure, or ease is hard to corner. He cannot be rushed. He cannot be baited easily. He is not frantic to preserve comfort at all costs. There is also a psychological shift that occurs. You stop asking life to be fair. You stop expecting ease. You become pragmatic. You deal with what is in front of you without complaint. That acceptance frees enormous mental energy. Hardship chosen is different from hardship imposed. The first builds confidence. The second tests it. Stoicism ensures the first prepares you for the second. You do not wait to discover who you are under strain. You already know. This practice does not require extremes. Small, consistent discomforts are enough. The key is intentionality. You choose them, you face them calmly, you exit them stronger. Over time, a quiet certainty forms. You trust yourself, not your moods, not your circumstances, yourself. That trust is rare, and it is felt. Comfort tells you to protect yourself from difficulty. Stoicism teaches you to train with it. One leaves you fragile, the other leaves you armed internally. When hardship arrives uninvited, the Stoic is not surprised. He has met it before, and because of that, he remains composed when others begin to break. Part 7. The Stoic definition of dangerous. When most people hear the word dangerous, they imagine aggression, domination, or force. Stoicism means none of that. A Stoic man is not dangerous because he intimidates others. He is dangerous because he cannot be easily controlled. His strength is internal, invisible, and therefore underestimated. The Stoic definition of dangerous begins with independence, not isolation, but non-dependence. He does not rely on comfort to function, approval to feel worthy, or emotion to decide. Because his inner state is not easily disturbed, external events lose their power over him. That alone places him outside the reach of most forms of manipulation. Dangerous men are predictable only in one way: they remain consistent under pressure. While others change behavior when stakes rise, the Stoic becomes clearer. Stress does not scramble his values. Urgency does not hijack his judgment. He moves with the same internal order, whether conditions are favorable or hostile. This consistency unsettles people. Many rely on emotional leverage to influence outcomes. They provoke reactions. They create urgency. They exploit guilt, fear, or desire for approval. These tactics fail against someone who does not react impulsively. When there is nothing to pull on, control collapses. The Stoic is dangerous because he has boundaries that do not require enforcement. He does not threaten. He does not explain excessively. He simply acts in alignment with his principles. When those principles are crossed, he responds calmly and decisively. No drama, no negotiation, just consequence. This makes interactions efficient. People learn quickly what is acceptable and what is not. They may not like it, but they respect it. Over time, fewer tests occur. Less energy is wasted. The Stoic's presence alone sets the tone. Another aspect of Stoic danger is emotional literacy without emotional slavery. The Stoic feels anger, fear, desire, and sadness like anyone else. The difference is that these emotions do not command him. He observes them, extracts information, and chooses action deliberately. This makes him resilient in moments that overwhelm others. In crisis, many men either freeze or overreact. The Stoic stabilizes. He simplifies. He focuses on what is within his control and releases the rest. This ability to function clearly under stress is rare, and rarity creates authority. Stoic danger is also rooted in self-trust. A man who trusts himself does not panic when unsupported. He does not rush to align with the crowd. He does not betray his values to avoid discomfort. That self-trust allows him to stand alone if necessary, which paradoxically makes him more influential when he chooses to engage. This is why Stoicism produces leaders without seeking leadership. People gravitate towards stability. They defer to those who are not swayed by noise. The Stoic does not demand attention, but attention finds him. Importantly, Stoic danger is ethical. It is bound by virtue. Wisdom guides decisions. Justice governs behavior toward others. Courage sustains action under fear. Temperance prevents excess. These virtues ensure that power does not decay into cruelty or ego. Without virtue, strength becomes volatility. With virtue, strength becomes reliability. The Stoic is dangerous not because he might act recklessly, but because he will not act unjustly, even when pressured to do so. That predictability makes him formidable. In a world driven by impulse, the man who governs himself stands apart. He cannot be rushed. He cannot be easily shamed. He cannot be bought cheaply. His calm is not passivity. It is readiness. Stoicism does not make you invincible. It makes you prepared. And preparation is what transforms ordinary men into something quietly dangerous. Individuals who remain whole when circumstances try to fracture them. This is the final shift. You are no longer seeking comfort, validation, or control over others. You are cultivating command over yourself. And that command is the most difficult to challenge. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to be unbreakable. Today's message is simple, but demanding. Comfort did not ruin you overnight. It trained you slowly, teaching you to react, to seek approval, to avoid pressure. Stoicism offers a reversal. It trains pause instead of impulse, discipline instead of negotiation, respect instead of validation, and inner strength instead of dependency. That is why Stoicism does not make you soft or passive. It makes you dangerous in the only way that truly matters. You become difficult to control. Danger, in the Stoic sense, is not aggression. It is composure under stress. It is consistent when conditions change. It is the ability to endure discomfort without losing clarity or character. When you can do that, chaos loses its leverage over you. Now comes the important part. Practice. Don't try to change everything at once. Start small. Choose one discomfort each day and face it deliberately. Pause before reacting. Speak less. Act with intention. Replace the question, "How do I feel?" with, "What is required of me?" These small choices compound into something powerful over time. If this video challenged you, let it. Growth never begins in comfort. Thank you for spending this time thinking deeply instead of consuming mindlessly. If you're ready to keep building strength from the inside out, subscribe, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video.